It's now time for Ermanni and Edwards with Maz, live on the Woodward Sports Network. Every day, 2 to 4 p.m. Starring Ryan Ermanni, Michigan great and former NFL baller Braylon Edwards, and of course, Tom Mazaway. Let's talk some sports.
Maybe a Friday in March, but we have a lot to talk about. Ermanni and Edwards with Maz. Ladies and gentlemen, do you see the backboard right there? My man might put something together. It's very fluid, as an individual would say. No Ermanni today, but we have our man Anson Wells, who joins from time to time. Always a pleasure. Pride of MSU. Anson, how you doing, brother?
I'm doing fantastic.
Your hair looks fantastic.
I needed the haircut bad.
Your hair looks fantastic.
Really, I appreciate that.
Nice cut.
The sun's out. I'm feeling and looking good. Got a great show on tap. I'm ready.
Well, you know why we have a great show on tap? Because we got the best producer in the game. Ladies and gentlemen, my man, Tom Mazaway. Tom, how you doing?
I'm great, Bray. Anson, we love having you here.
Love being here.
You always bring some sunshine with you.
Hey, I try.
Mike, great job on the graphics. Wait till you see all the rest of these guys. And Pete, have a good show, my friend.
It's going to be fun. Oh, go ahead, Pete. Go ahead. We're doing good, man. Everybody's doing good. Mike, silent Mike. You know Mike doesn't say much. What's going on, brother? And there he is. The laugh. We'll take the laugh as a how you doing. Everything is going well in your neck of the woods. It's Friday, ladies and gentlemen. A lot to get to. Though it's a Friday in March, almost April. There's a lot to get to. You see, I'm wearing two different franchises. Same city. I'm wearing one because I love them. And because D-Mac works here. He's a friend of the show. He's a big brother of mine. But last night, Maz, you just said we could probably have a funeral for these guys. Yeah, but then the other team up top, the Detroit Tigers, baby. We talked about it. We talked about the strength of the Tigers. And let's start there. Let's start with some positivity in the city of Detroit. Anson, Maz, huge baseball fan. I know you are. Probably will come to you first. The thing that I saw is the pitching. I think we've been talking about Tarik Skubal. Like, can he take it's last year, Tarik Skubal, oh, man, you see flashes of it. The year before that, you see flashes of it. But I think now finally we can say he's arrived, and you look at that bullpen. Maz, they pitched the shutout, 11 strikes total. Didn't allow anyone to get to second base, and 3 hits he gave up. Beautiful. One of them was a dribbler that could have been an out, so that'd be 2 hits. Maz, that bullpen was something yesterday.
3 shutout innings from the pen. Jason Foley with the last 2 outs. Tarik Skubal did what he's supposed to do. 6 innings, 6 strikeouts, 3 hits. Probably could have stayed in longer, but it's opening day. Matter of fact, the first opening day shutout by the Tigers in 5 years.
Oh, I got another stat for you.
That's pretty cool.
First time the Detroit Tigers have ever finished an opening game 1-0.
Oh, wow.
Think about that, man. It's in the long history of Detroit Tigers.
Wow.
First time opening day has been won 1-0.
Are you ready for this? It's the first time the Tigers have been over 500 since April 8th of 2022, and I take that from Tony Paul of the Detroit News. That is a funny stat, man.
He's a Michigan State guy.
So there you go. Right. Thanks for that number there, Tony. We'll take it. I love Torkelson. 2 hits for him. Ibanez got the RBI, came in. Guess who stole the base and got a hit and scored a run? Javier Baez. So everything looking up right now after 1 game.
I'm going to come to you next, Anson, but I just got to say something because there's somebody that's been very critical of Javi Baez since he's been here. This is year 3 for Javi Baez. We understand what we got him. We understand what he wasn't. We paid. I think in retrospect, when you look at what the market was, I think we paid a good price for him. Just has it was what the market was. Hasn't been what we thought he could be. I have been the most critical. He can't hit. He's swinging at everything. Like, I can go out there and have a better eye in the batter box than he does. Great on defense, but he can't hit. This is why we brought him in there. Yesterday, ladies and gentlemen, not only did he get the hit, Maz, stole the base.
Oh, yeah.
And ultimately led to the score that was 1-0. So I have to give credit where credit is due. I'm not saying he's arrived, Anson. Yeah. But I got to give credit where credit is due. He's shown me he's a little bit better this year because he had a horrible spring training.
Yeah, I mean, it's a ridiculously small sample size at this point. So
it's
to say he's off the hook through 1 game. But this
9 innings.
This guy is the catalyst for this team if they're going to do anything. Not only on the defensive side, but obviously, as you just pointed out, when this guy gets on the bases, he's a threat. And if he can put together some confidence for just a month, we could see the old Javi. He's still going to strike out a lot. He's still going to make some mistakes, but what he can mean to this team now that he's got some help around him could be huge.
I saw a stat that said Javi Baez the year before last struck out 26% of the time. Last year he struck out 22% of the time. So I guess he doesn't strike out as much as we think, but he still struck out a little bit too much in the last 2 seasons. But it's a good start. And also, like you said, Maz, Spencer Torkelson's the guy for for the Tigers that has the big bat. He's the guy that's going to hit the home runs. He's the guy that people might be tuning in to see. 2 hits yesterday. That's really good for him because he's become one of these kind of hitters where he's a home run or nothing. So to see him get 2 hits and neither home runs, I thought that spelled well for the Tigers, as well as a couple other. Colton Keith got a hit. You know what I'm saying?
You're not kidding.
100%.
Got hit by a pitch on his first at bat, by the way, Colt Keith, and wound up getting a hit later on. So congrats to him on his first major league hit and his first major league game. They paid him a lot of money. Hopefully he gets to stay up here and learn. And this team, man, they were 20-9 in spring. I know it's preseason. I get it.
Yeah.
But 20-9 in spring, pretty damn good. Now 1-0 in the regular season against a division foe. They have the off day today. They'll try it again tomorrow. Jason Benetti, the new play-by-play guy on Bally's for us. The White Sox did a nice thing for him yesterday. If you saw that, they gave him a congratulations, and because he was with the Chicago White Sox all these years. Not only that, that's where he grew up. And to have him here doing the play-by-play with Craig Monroe is a treat. He's going to be a terrific listen. Dan Dickerson, of course, had his great game as well.
And also, we'll talk a little bit about Chicago in just this sense. Crochet on the mound for the White Sox last year. He didn't take any starts. Actually, this was his first start ever. He's usually a reliever. 72 games he's played, he's been a reliever in all of those. He pitched well as well, man.
Heck yeah.
8 strikeouts.
Tigers only got 6 hits. 6 hits to 3 hits. It was it's a winter baseball game.
Crochet was really one of the most effective relievers for some time.
Yeah.
I loved guys like Freddie Peralta, seeing guys like him take that next step into this starter position. That starter role for him, I think, is going to suit him really, really well. I do want to touch back on Torque, though. We've got 4 guys at this point, young guys, and even AJ as well, but 4 guys that were supposed to be such a big part of this team. And Torque never met the expectations, but he's still super young. You got that post-hype sleeper appeal to him. You've got a Riley Green who could finally be healthy.
Man, the key thing is health.
That's right. And then you got Casey Mize, who's a real wild card coming off of TJ, off of Tommy John. That's a guy that could really cement this rotation along with the new guys like Flaherty that they brought in. And then Colt Keith. Obviously, everybody's been talking about him all summer. The last few years, we've been talking about this farm system and these talented guys that we were supposedly bringing up, and none of them really came up and impacted this team.
Yeah.
I think we could really see that right now this season. We have already seen it through one game. Torkelson, like I said with Javi, Torkelson's the big bat, the speak quietly and carry that big stick. If he can turn it up, this team could really push to win this division.
100%. Hey, Maz, now you watched the game, you watched all the opening games, or you checked the stat databases and the clips and the highlights. What do you think so far in MLB? I'll take a little broad spectrum. Obviously, the Tigers have a chance.
Too early, bro. But
too early.
Was it
some fun baseball?
It was. It was some good games. I'm glad the Dodgers lost.
There you go.
The Yankees won. Juan Soto got a hit. He threw a guy out at home. I mean, it's a good start for the Bombers. The Mets are playing right now. The Braves are starting to play. I think it's Mets-Braves, if I'm not mistaken.
Right.
So those 2 teams who were rained out yesterday are playing now. So the big guys are playing today. So we'll see. The opening weekend is always, because you have opening day, then they leave the next day open in case it gets rained out. Same thing for next week for the Tigers. We open on Friday against the A's. So all good things are starting right now, and it's not even April yet, guys.
Before we get to the Red Wings, will we give a quick snippet about how they've done what they've done? Getting back to, I want to say, was it the Tigers for a second? Let me reverse that though. At the All-Star game, they do the mic'd up. That's the only time they do it in baseball is the mic'd up. Well, they now do it during the regular season. Got a chance to see it during the All-Star game, and it's so effortless how the baseball players can make plays, pitch, do all that as they're talking the game. Yesterday they did that with another player. I think I saw it on ESPN or so. Holiday, his brother plays here.
Yeah.
Is Josh Holiday?
You talking for Baltimore?
Yes, Baltimore.
That's Jackson Holiday.
And his brother, not Holiday. Who's the brother? Jace something.
Jace Young?
Jace Young. His brother's Josh Young.
Yes. There you go.
Tremendous player, right? He's mic'd up, and I guess you can ask them whatever you want to, and if it's a good question, they pipe it in.
Baseball has to do this to compete with the other sports. Because let's face it, guys like me love baseball. Guys like Mike, they're like, it's boring. The young guys think it's boring. The old guys think it's great. Yeah. It's America's pastime still because there's no clock really in baseball.
A mathematically perfect game.
I love it. I love it. I'm in love with it. It's always been a romantic sport. But I like it a little bit more now. Like, you got this, and then they asked him a question and said, hey, is your brother going to be better than you? He's like, He said, I'm still better, but he's going to be a stud. Like that. You were talking about the farm system, and that's why I bring it up. I bring it up to say they have some players down there. It's a matter of bringing it up and when they're ready. Finally. All right, Red Wings. Let's get this out the way. Like, Maz.
Put them on ice.
Pun.
Put it this way. It was bowling night last night.
04 Hurricane.
So first thing I do is I go to the desk and I get the remote so I can put the channels I want on. Okay? The owner's like, go ahead, man. Do what you want. So, of course, I'm putting basketball on. And then, of course, there's a few people, the Wings are on. I'm like, all right, I forgot. So I put the Wings on a couple of most of the TVs, actually. It's 0-0. They're playing one of the best teams in the East, in the Carolina Hurricanes. I'm like, okay.
Have been for about the past 4 or 5 years.
1-0. 2-0, 3-0. I went and got that remote. I'm like, I'm done. 3-0. They look dead. They tried in the first period, and they just can't hang with a team like the Hurricanes. They're not ready yet. The goaltending is suspect. 4-0 the final. They're still 2 points out, 2 games in hand for the Capitals. We'll see how it rolls going from here. But I wound up changing those channels over to the basketball again.
Anson, I'm going to bring it to you like this. This is – I'm not going to say novice because I've been watching hockey and Red Wings. Like I tell the story all the time. I cried in 95. To let you know I've been long watching the Wings in the NHL. I remember Sharks on 95 and Teemu Selanne with Paul Kariya. Anyway, it's like basketball, Maz. If you don't have killers, assassins, let me use a better choice of words. If you don't have those guys that can get you a bucket, if you don't have those guys that can get you a goal, you're not going to win.
Big
and the problem,
playmakers.
100%. And the problem with the Red Wings is, yes, you have depth lines. You have deep lines. You got 4 lines. You got a bunch of guys with 12 goals, a bunch of guys with 20 points or more. But you don't have that guy that can just go out there on his own and get you a goal.
Who's the man here?
Dylan Larkin, University of Michigan. Love Dylan Larkin. Dylan Larkin is only so good. Dylan Larkin's not one of these all-star guys. Right. To win in hockey is like winning in basketball. You got to have, at least in hockey, 2 guys.
Yeah.
2 guys that can get you a goal whenever. 2 guys that can get you 2 goals.
DeBrincat and Kane, but, Kane 10 years ago would have been better. He's playing great, though. Don't get me wrong.
He's playing about as good as you could expect for his age, and I appreciate it. But I'm just, in my opinion, they don't have a guy that can just go get a goal one-on-one or they can, do something crazy.
There's no Pavel Datsyuk here anymore. There's no Sergei Fedorov.
Right. Those guys are the 3 and 4 on championship teams.
Good call.
Yeah.
Good call.
And what we're building, because we were so thin for so long, the roster was just beat, was we are building organizational depth.
I agree.
And we're biding our time until we can find that
But when do we go for the stars? Like, when are those deals in place?
I think that's this offseason. I think very similar to coming in like the Lions did this last year. Instead of just spending and trying to fill all the holes, they've defined what those holes are this season. Goaltending, one of them, as Maz mentioned. And a top tier leader, a star, So I think at this point, I think Yzerman's got a good handle on who this team is at this point. And this is that offseason, much like with the Pistons and the Lions last year. Actually this year, the holes are defined. We know what we need to go get.
Don't mention the Pistons.
Well,
mention the Pistons.
If we're going to talk ice soccer, I got to at least talk some basketball,
don't mention the
especially
Pistons.
if you're comparing the two.
It's the 4th time this month they've been shut out.
Oof.
4 times in the month of March. And guess what? Don't get any easier. Tomorrow, they're at Sunrise, Florida against the Panthers.
Ooh.
So that's going to be a hard one to win.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be a hard one to win for the Red Wings. Look, man, Maz, we'll kill
it. It is what it is.
We'll kill the subject with this. Ask the question: are the Wings? Do they still have a feasible chance to make the playoffs?
They got a shot, but I wouldn't consider it a solid shot. They're only 2 back, but you need the Capitals to lose a couple of games because they have 2 games in hand. We'll see how it rolls going on, but I'll ask this question that everyone always asks. Is the pressure on Steve Yzerman if they don't get into playoffs this year, or are you sticking with D-Mac and the Yzer plan? Just chill out. Team's not ready yet. Blah, blah, blah.
You know what? I'll answer first, Anson. I'll let you answer after, and then we'll go to break because there's some other stuff to talk about, too. Like last night, how many people's brackets got cooked? We'll get into that in the Sweet 16 that wasn't so sweet for certain brackets.
We got the Sweet 16 downtown tonight.
Oh, 100%. We'll get into that. Purdue, Gonzaga, good game going on. I think if they don't make the playoffs this year, which I don't believe they will now, I said they were going to make playoffs the whole season. Mass can tell you that. Now I'm in a space where I just don't think it happens down the stretch. I don't think he's under fire in the offseason. I think he's still good. I think he's still slowly progressing. If they aren't in playoff contention and they don't make a move next year by playoff, I think that's when Stevie Y becomes under the gun, as they say.
I don't think there was big expectations for a playoff run this year. There was hopes. So I don't think that you can fire Detroit's favorite hockey son based on that.
It's true.
Next year, I think everybody's thinking, okay, we're back in the playoffs this season. And if they fall short during the trade deadline, making those moves to put them over the top to make sure that they're in, then you're going to see the heat. But I still think this guy's got at least next year free pass. Yeah. This is Steve Yzerman.
They're not canning him.
No, understood. But
I'm just saying the people are out. The people, they're pissed. Well, the Red Wing fans are pissed.
Yeah,
well, we know who owns the franchise, and we know how that relationship is with Yzerman and Ilitch's. That would never happen. But in terms of real questions, like you said, it is the fan base that you worry about.
By the way, did you see Chris Ilitch and the president of baseball operations sitting in the first base side watching the Tigers yesterday? They were outdoors watching. I don't think I've ever seen Chris Ilitch at a game.
Well, he's trying to change it up.
Yeah, I like it. I like what I saw.
He's trying to change it up. As an owner, we talk about this all the time in football, but basketball, and you name a sport, the owners that are very involved, the owners that are there, the owners that are present, those are the owners that win. Those are the owners that care. Those are the owners that players vibe with.
Taking a page out of Sheila's book.
Yes.
Well, at 100%, when you have a model that works, why not use it?
That's right.
You have a great model in Sheila had what the Detroit Lions are doing. Use the model, and I think that's what he's going to do. Look, we're going to take a quick break. We're going to get to the Sweet 16. Like I said, that wasn't so sweet. We won't talk about what happened, but
good games last night.
Great games, but not great outcomes for me. I'm trying to win some brackets over
there, man. You got NC.
But first, man, we're going to swing it over to Pete and get a message from Wake Up Woodward.
That's right, everybody. Wake up, Woodward! It is the new morning show right here. Start your day with Wake Up Woodward Monday through Friday, 8 to 10 a.m. live right here on Woodward Sports. Join Kool-Aid, Flannel Sam, Broder, and by the way, Broder's in the chat right now, so make sure to say hi to him. Also join JB and KG every morning as they cover all of Detroit's sports, talk, banter, and live fan interaction. All right here on Detroit's #1 sports station, and that would be Woodward Sports. We'll be right back.
Every year, after a cold and dreary winter, Metro Detroiters come together for 2 things: Tigers baseball and the best damned party in the world. A new season of Tigers baseball is here, and we're bringing in the new season as only Woodward Sports knows how. Broadcasting live from the biggest party. It's the Grand Slam Festival at the Detroit Opera House. Come party with 4,000 Detroit sports fans, starting with Wake Up Woodward and rolling into Big D Energy. This is a party you don't want to miss, with Detroit's best DJs, food trucks, and of course, shots. Get your tickets now at GrandSlamFest.com. 21 plus. See you April 5th at the Grand Slam Fest.
Where's the most convenient place to get that big fitness energy?
It's Planet Fitness.
Join today for just $1 down, $10 a month. With over 2,400 locations and equipment for every workout, you can get in, get energized, and get going. And with free fitness training and most clubs open 24 hours, everyone belongs in the judgment-free zone. So join today for $1 down, $10 a month, no commitment, cancel anytime.
Is that an octopus in your pants, or are you just happy to see me? See what I did there? Go Red Wings! From Octopi Experts Woodward Sports.
to any Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men and claim your throne for a king's treatment from one of our talented stylists. Open 7 days a week, walk in anytime. Just get to a Lady Jane's today and receive a precision haircut, scalp massage, hot lather neck shave, and a hot towel treatment. A haircut should not be a chore. It should be an experience. And that's exactly what Lady Jane's has to offer. Open 7 days a week, walk-ins are always welcome. There's always a location near you. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men, it's wicked awesome.
Congratulations to the real Coach of the Year, Motor City Dan Campbell.
Just put your head down and go to work. It's about to be fun, man. It's about to be fun.
Woodward Sports.
Shake Shack and Woodward Sports want to remind you it is always football season. So with that being said, how would you like to win 2 tickets to Detroit Lions home opener? That's right, 12:05 King in the North. The Detroit Lions, you get a chance, man. All you got to do is go to Shake Shack, fill out, register, or if you're looking at the show right now, just look at the QR code, scan it right now, fill it out, or you're listening later on, woodwardsports.com. Go there, click the link. QB Challenge, win 2 tickets. Also, go to Shake Shack and check out the Chicken Shack. What's it called? The Chicken Shack Shake Shack sandwich. The pickles are amazing on it, and it's cooked to perfection. It's a low-key chicken sandwich sleeper. QB Challenge, win 2 tickets. Check it out, Woodward Sports and Shake Shack. Welcome back, Ermanni and Edwards with Maz, second segment of the show. Maz, last night, man.
Yeah, couple good games.
You know what, Maz? Last night, my girl and I, we turned it on. We say, hey, let's dive into March Madness. Let's try to catch the spirit of March Madness. I hadn't watched really, was doing really well, was winning my family bracket, if you will. And, man, I tuned in, great games, but I was on the losing end
All right.
of a lot of I'm still winning, but
I'm 50th right now in the Woodward Sports bracket. 50th.
So where do you want to start? Do you want to start with Alabama and UNC?
Yeah, well, we'll start with UConn. UConn, as the national champs, are the number 1 seed. They had no problems with the rematch from last year's championship game. They beat San Diego State handily in the final 82-52. Brian Dutcher, who was the head coach of San Diego, the Aztecs, he said, hey, they had a better team. We tried our best. We could hold our heads up.
Brian Dutcher in Michigan?
Yeah.
That's Steve Fisher's boy.
Yeah.
He was on the staff,
He's the head coach now. Right. He's the head coach of San Diego State. Took over for Steve Fisher.
There it is.
Yeah, and he took him to the championship last year.
I just watched the Fab Five, so I was like, Brian Dutcher.
Yep, and UConn took care of business. They're going to be very hard to beat. Their head coach, Dan Hurley, they asked him, do you ever play close games? He's like, well, we don't do we're real good with close games, so we like to just do what we got to do and take it off the sheet. So congrats to the Huskies. I know everybody probably had UConn still in the bracket.
You have UConn going all the way, man. You look at the Hurley staff. I mean, you got Dan, but also you have Bobby on that team as well. Bobby's coaching. He's on the bench. It's fun watching those guys. It's just a better, well-coached team. You saw what they did last year, and I think they're the same team this year. And so I like UConn, and luckily I got them winning it all, so I'm still in decent standing, man.
How about you there, Anson?
I'm looking pretty darn good. The Clemson, Alabama I picked, I think UConn, it's just really hard to get away from them as a favorite right now. They do so many things well. They've got the experience. They've got the staff. I wasn't a UNC believer. I do like Creighton and Gonzaga. So I'm looking pretty good.
All right.
I'm looking pretty good, man. And I still got Duke in there, too, even though I hate those Blue Devils.
Hey, how about this, man? There's still 2 Big Ten teams alive. Illinois took care of business last night.
Love that.
Illinois wins a close one against Iowa State, 72-69. So it's the Illini and the UConn Huskies Saturday in the Elite Eight. That is tomorrow, and that'll be in Boston. To go to the Final Four.
Let me talk about this game, Illinois and Iowa State. I watched this whole game, man. Shannon Jr. for Illinois, he's one of the best players in the country, and I think he'll be a lottery pick. When I say lottery, I'm talking about top 3, top 4. Like, I like this guy. He can score. He's ambidextrous. Like him a lot. But Iowa State was the much better team. They just did not come to play. Illinois, if you look at the shot selection, their free throw percentage, the shot selection was horrible. You know what the game reminds me of, Anson? Do you remember Juwan Howard's best season, Maz? It was when Michigan made it to the Elite Eight and they played against UCLA. UCLA and Juicy Juzang and Remy Jaquez.
Yep.
They played the worst game that a basketball team can play and win. They scored 56 points or so. They missed a ton of field goals. Their field goal percentage was 30 or 32, 36. They missed a ton of free throws. Michigan gave them the game.
Yeah, they sure did.
Iowa State is a better team than Illinois. Now, Illinois had the better player. Illinois played the worst game ever and still managed to win. So even though they won, got to credit that team, credit that squad. I don't trust them as far as I can throw them.
Yeah, I didn't have them going that far. That's for sure.
I had Iowa State too, by the way.
I had them losing to Duquesne, to be honest.
Well, I had Duquesne win in the first round.
Yeah, I had them going past, actually. But honestly, it's just really, really good to see two Big Ten teams still alive. Because the last 5-6 years, we've just watched them lose early over and over again. Purdue, as you love to say, these guys get in their own way over and over again. But it really seems like they might have a team that can take them to the Final Four at this point. I just want to see one Big Ten team flourish in this tournament.
UConn is an 8.5-point favorite tomorrow over the Illini. I think
they will be.
I don't think they could cover that number, but they're playing their best. First time they're in the Elite Eight in 20 years, so they're making a run.
Yeah, last time they were in it, Deron Williams, Luther Head, great team.
Oof.
I remember that team. 05 was a great year for the 04 was a great year for the Big Ten. You had Michigan State. You had, I think they made the Final Four. You had Illinois made the championship game. Wisconsin had.
Who's their point guard? Frank. They had a squad. They had a real good team.
But can I bring up something, Maz?
Yeah, of course.
Another team that lost, Arizona. Yeah. Number 2 seed.
Arizona played Clemson in the West.
Arizona 2 seed, who actually, my man over here to the left, Anson Wells, had Clemson winning that game. So kudos to
77-72. The Clemson Tigers win it.
But can we talk about Arizona and the teams like this that are these teams that dominate their conference year after year, but when they come to the Big Ten, when they come to the tourney, they don't show up. Here's a stat for you. Arizona, in the last 6 seasons coming to the tournament, you know what they've done? They've lost to a team that was 4 or more seeds lower than them.
Yeah.
Over and over
6
and
years.
over.
So basically what you're telling me is you can win the you can win the Pac-12 easily, but then you come to it's coaching. It's coaching. Like you're getting bounced by teams that are 4+. If you're 2, that's 6. That's on average. I just don't get it.
Don't take it away from Clemson. They're playing their best ball.
True. But they're a very less than team than
They're
Arizona.
A scrappy team.
Scrappy team, but at some point, when does
It's a 6 over a 2. It is. It is what it is.
6 years in a row. When does the coach get fired? Well,
at this point, I honestly choose my bracket a little more based on conference.
Okay.
And the Pac-10 is not a conference I'm interested in
Nah.
seeing go far.
Nah.
You know.
The game of the night, of course, was the nightcap, and it was great. It's Alabama, shocking number 1, UNC, and it was a hell of a game. 89-87, the final. What a way to end the game that they did. Bama took that game away from the Tar Heels, and just they beat them down at the end of that game.
Watched that game with my girl who hooped in college, so she knows more than I do. But this is what I do know: big players step up in big moments. And Jones, number 2 for Alabama, was electric last night. 28 points. I think he averages 13 on the season. 28 points. He was knocking down threes. He was getting buckets. He was creating passes. He shot perfect from the stripe, if I want to say. I think I did that. Big players show up in big moments. It doesn't matter if it's against a blue blood or a number 1.
The star was Nelson. Nelson was the star.
That's what I'm talking about. Number 2.
Nelson.
Excuse me. That's right. Nelson, number 2ll.
Correct.
Oh, my. And
made free throws down the field.
6'10", started shooting threes.
Then he blocked the last shot.
Nelson was amazing. He took, and you know what? UNC couldn't shoot threes, and that's what it came down to. They started trying to shoot threes. They went away from Baycott, the big guy in the good guy in the middle. They won a national championship with him 2-3 years ago. They went away from him trying to shoot those threes, and man, like Nelson was amazing down the stretch, man. Like, he was double-double. I think he had 28 and 13 or 16.
Bama's a 2.5-point favorite tomorrow against Clemson. So Bama's a favorite. UConn's an 8.5-point favorite in that game. Tonight's games down at Little Caesars, you got the Midwest Regional. They're Elite Eight. Well, they'll be down to an Elite Eight after it's done. The 7:39 opening game tonight, you know it, and it's going to be Purdue against Gonzaga.
Who do you have, man?
Purdue is given 5.5 to get to the Zags. The Zags, I mean, you can say what you want about them all year round, but when they come to the playoff, they play. Mark Few knows how to coach.
No doubt about
this team. And Purdue, let's face it, if you're going on history, I'm taking Gonzaga in the 5.5 tonight.
Easily.
Yeah,
Easily.
I took Gonzaga in the regular round of 64, however you want to say it.
I have them beating them as well.
Yeah, smart. I took Gonzaga over Purdue. it's just a no-brainer. Purdue, every time they get into this moment.
But they're playing great. The last game they played, they could have won by 100.
They are. But as you were about to go.
Oh, and they also played earlier this year. Don't you think for 1 second, I want to say Gonzaga lost by 10. Don't you think for 1 second they don't have the film and they've been studying?
Oh, yeah. It's tough to beat a team 2 times and 3 times in the same season. You know, these two teams.
Not for North Carolina against MSU. Sorry.
Well, aside from, Gonzaga's had a few years where they were the team, one of the top 5, top 10 teams.
2021.
But there's been so many other years where they were just a good team, but they always made it far. They gained massive experience. That's passed down from class to class. And you see the same thing, but on the opposite for Purdue. These great teams that are top 1, 2, 3, 4 seeds year after year, and they just get put out early. And you start to develop a culture where, hey, we might be the 5 seed, but we're Gonzaga. We're going to make our move here. It's March time. And when you're Purdue, you come in there and you graduate these guys that go into the, into the lottery and are fantastic NBA players. You got Zach Edey, but there's got to be a little bit of a mental block for these guys wondering, can we do this? Can we get past the wall that we've not been able to get over? So those two teams are just, in terms of their culture and their mindset, I see the two of them entering this game on completely different levels. I do think that Purdue's a better team, but when it comes down to one game elimination, really love Gonzaga. I don't care about the points.
Me too. I'll take the Zags and the points tonight. The nightcap after that game is Tennessee, number 2, against Creighton, number 3. Creighton's getting 2.5, I think. Let me double check that.
Tennessee's another team like Purdue, always in the top 3, 4, and just always out before the grade 8.
I definitely have Creighton.
No, thank you on Tennessee.
Creighton's a Big East. Of course, Tennessee out in the SEC, right?
Yep.
So we'll see. On that. We'll see who wins that one. That's a late one tonight. Bray, I know. I'll meet you down at the game tonight, but I doubt you're staying for that nightcap.
I'm not staying for the nightcap, which is Houston and Duke. Yeah, Houston and Duke. Look, I actually think now. You know how when you fill your bracket out, as the tournament goes, you start to change your opinions, but you can't change them on paper.
Yes,
I know.
Right.
I think this Duke's going to be a weird team this year. I just have this weird feeling about Duke. I think Duke actually will make the Final Four.
Whenever
they play Houston in the South bracket tonight.
I think they'll make the Final Four, and then we'll see what
Duke
happens.
is getting 4.5 from Houston, who is the best defensive team in the country, and they could have been. Kelvin Sampson's a great coach.
He is.
Houston could have won a couple of years ago. Remember when Michigan knocked them off? Who got that big shot?
Jordan Poole.
Yeah, Jordan Poole. I mean, that was just – I remember that shot like it was yesterday, but Houston is a hell of a team. But they go against the Blue Bloods tonight.
Yeah, Duke seems to do very well when they come in on a sleeper seed status. It's when they're that first or second seed that they can get kind of disrupted. But I really like their run as well. You can't overestimate experience, and that franchise, that program has experience for decades, man.
And before we let this topic go, I guess we didn't even talk to this guy about Tom Izzo. That would be.
We will. I want to get one more game in. There's one more.
That would be a great conversation.
It's number 2, Marquette 100%. Against number 11, NC State. The Wolfpack, all they do is keep on winning. Right. They had to win to get in. They won the ACC tournament. They are red hot. They're the team that knocked off Oakland. This should be Oakland's game, but it's not. So it's the team I picked to win it all, Marquette, against NC State. NC State's getting 6.5. Now, I got Marquette to win, but when I saw them against Colorado last Sunday, I'm like, and that's Shaka Smart. He's my guy. I like NC State and the points tonight. I think that's a 2-point game. I think it's a buzzer beater game. I wish I could be at that particular game instead of the Creighton game tonight.
The one thing I would say about this is, look, Shaka Smart, we know we love that guy. We talk about him potentially being the head coach of University of Michigan before, obviously, they hire Rush, excuse me. Dusty, exactly. But this reminds me of the play-in tournament. And now, although the players are older, you look at LeBron and what they do with last year, Los Angeles, just how old they were. When you have to fight towards the end and you have to keep fighting and keep fighting and keep fighting, you know what happens is you run out of gas. They manage you run out of gas. Like, they've had to consistently win since the tournament. So now they've won every game in the ACC tournament. And then they rolled that into the NCAA tournament. At some point, you run out of gas. Those Cinderella stories, the stories of that, Michigan did the same thing when they won a tournament. When the plane crashed on the runway, they run the Big Ten tournament. They got down to the Elite Eight, and I believe they lost to Oregon. You just run out of energy. You run out of gas. It doesn't matter about how good you're playing. Sometimes you have to get up every night, pause, like to get up for a game, to be into it. Sometimes
won 6 in a row to get here.
And
it's tough.
I think that you run out of talent too, because these teams that we're talking about are fringe teams. And they, maybe they underplayed during the regular season and they were good enough to be there, but they've got to rally to get in. Now, when I look at NC State and I look at Marquette's a team that's one of the best coached teams in the nation.
Shaka Smart.
They have a very consistent, deep team. The problem, though, for me is that this is a team coached by Shaka Smart that's going to go into almost every regular season game and just control it. They're going to win out of professionalism and just execution because of how good they are. Now, when you get to this point of the season, that kind of gets thrown out. Teams aren't sleeping from game to game like they are during the regular season. And now you got an upstart like NC State at an 11th seed. And over the last 10, 15 years, we've always just seen one of these teams make it to the Elite Eight, maybe even the Final Four. It's momentum at this point against coaching. I like Marquette. I picked them to win this game, but NC State has Cinderella written all over them at this point.
Hell yeah.
I think that they've got enough talent to overcome the top-notch execution that we see from Marquette.
If I'm not mistaken, I think they won as an 11 when Jimmy V was there.
They did.
Jimmy Valvano. I think they were an 11 over the one Georgetown. So you never know, man.
I know that
never know.
I know that Jimmy Valvano is not the head coach currently for the North Carolina State Wolfpack.
He will not.
Hey, look, let's take a break and let's get into the Lions because Dan Campbell gave us some sound. And also, Mike Tannenbaum, who's a friend of the show, he has some thoughts on Dan Campbell as well. But first, we'll jump into a break, and I believe we're going to talk about Planet Fitness, where your fitness is essential. Only $10 a month. They still are only charging $10 a month for you to experience a squeaky clean gym. I'm talking about the 30-minute total body workout. It's easy. They have the machines. It's in the circle. They got the timer. They have the pace. All you got to do is show up, man. Planet Fitness, where your fitness is essential.
Every year, after a cold and dreary winter, Metro Detroiters come together for two things: Tigers baseball and the best damned party in the world. A new season of Tigers baseball is here, and we're bringing in the new season as only Woodward Sports knows how. Broadcasting live from the biggest party. It's the Grand Slam Festival at the Detroit Opera House. Come party with 4,000 Detroit sports fans, starting with Wake Up Woodward and rolling into Big D Energy. This is a party you don't want to miss, with Detroit's best DJs, food trucks, and of course, shots. Get your tickets now at GrandSlamFest.com. 21 plus. See you April 5th at the Grand Slam Fest.
At work and at home, we're there with smarter security solutions. Featuring complete automation with customized alerts and more. For over 90 years, we've been the company that's been counted on to protect what matters most, all with personalized service and care. Right now, for a limited time, receive a free video device plus free installation with a new home system. Guardian Alarm. We protect Michigan.
And with the first pick in the 2024 media draft, Detroit selects Woodward Sports. Thank you for making us the #1 digital network in Detroit.
Come to any Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men and claim your throne for a king's treatment from one of our talented stylists. Open 7 days a week, walk in anytime. Just get to a Lady Jane's today and receive a precision haircut, scalp massage, hot lather neck shave, and a hot towel treatment. A haircut should not be a chore. It should be an experience. And that's exactly what Lady Jane's has to offer. Open 7 days a week, walk-ins are always welcome. There's always a location near you. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men, it's wicked awesome.
Is that an octopus in your pants, or are you just happy to see me? You should see what I did there. Go Red Wings! From Octopi Experts, Woodward Sports.
What's better than crispy chicken and pizza while watching your favorite team play? I mean, you guys could have a team still left in the Sweet 16 of the tournament, maybe not, but if you do, Soroki's is a spot for you. Crispy chicken and pizza. And also, their food is amazing, but the locations are popping up all around metropolitan Detroit. A perfect takeout option featuring hand-breaded fried chicken, New York pizza, fresh salads, sides, and more. This is the spot, man. This is who we partner with. This is who we work with. This is who we also eat with. That is Sarokis, SAROKIS.com. Sarokis and Woodward Sports. That's Chris. Back to Ermanni and Edwards with Maz. Ryan Ermanni won't be with us today, but my man Anson Wells is filling in his spot. Before we jump into the lines, I know you guys are excited. I'm sorry I teased it because we're about to get into them. But let's just get back to the tournament, college basketball, the Big Ten, and obviously Michigan State one last time, since we do have Anson, Michigan State Spartan, and knows his stuff. This is the fourth time in a row, I want to say, for Tom Izzo that he's finished in the first 2 days, I think it is.
Didn't make the 16 yet.
There you go. They didn't make the round of 16. He's made it 25 or 26 straight years, or 28, one of the three. 28. Outside of the season that was COVID, when we knew Michigan State would probably be in the championship game and had a chance probably to win that year and would have won. Seems like since 2020, it seems like it's gone down. It's gotten worse. And it seems like even the best thing about Michigan State, which was Tom Izzo, being able to develop players. Players got better. Players may have been lottery picks as freshmen, but when they came in, they understood how to play the game. Then he worked with them. They got better and better. They went from second team to first team to All-American. Now you're seeing guys go from second team to third team, like A.J. Hogarth, regressing. It's not time for Tom Izzo to go because we know he's the GOAT. We know what he means in Michigan State. But what is the conversation from the real Spartan fans, from the real people that know Tom Izzo, and they also know what's going on in college basketball today, presently landscape?
You use the word present day.
Yeah.
They have to accept and embrace the current state of college athletics, as well as basketball. We talked about this last week when I was in with you. This is a guy that went on record 20 plus years ago saying that he's not interested in getting the blue chip prospects that are going to leave after 1 year.
Yeah.
Let's talk. 2000, we won it with
Flintstones,
Zach Randolph and Jason Richardson, who were both freshmen, right? And they both left, okay? Now, fast forward, we haven't had those guys that have left after 1 year. We've had a couple here and there, but the focus on this development of 3-4 year guys, it just hasn't worked. Meanwhile, we're watching the Kentuckys and the UNCs and these other guys take these guys for 1 year, graduate them to the NBA, and add another ring to their damn hand, you know? Something that I did read today is that Izzo is looking into the transfer portal, and he's actually talking about venturing into that. You have to do that in today's college athletics. You cannot afford to not do it.
Yeah.
You will get lapped. You know, Michigan State's basketball and Michigan's football, these are two programs that would absolutely benefit from just biting the bullet and accepting the current times. He is at a point in his career that if he does not do this, he needs to go sooner than later. Because by sticking to his guns and sticking around for 3 more years, the damage that he can do by not transferring us into this current time, this current landscape, we will be behind the 8 ball for a long, long time. So, Izzo, I love you, but it's time for you to change with the times, or it's time for you to go.
You heard that from Michigan State Spartan, honest but true loyal fan, and Anson Wells, and also alum. Look, at the end of the day, we appreciate what you've done, but it's time to move into the present.
Right.
Man, speaking of moving to the present, Mike Tannenbaum, friend of the show, before we get to Dan Campbell, before we get to the Lions, he talked about the Lions, and he said, Mike Tannenbaum, because of Dan Campbell, the Lions are a destination team.
You know it is. Well, you know it is. I want to play for this guy. Who wouldn't want to play for Dan Campbell?
That's right.
Dan Campbell and Brad Holmes have made this is a whole new facelift. Sheila Ford, it all started with her when her hands were in her face against the Houston Texans on that Thanksgiving Day.
Game.
That was when the Lions were officially born. They were born that day. Next day, Matt Patricia was canned, and so was Bob, what's his name? What was his last name again? Yeah, Bob Quinn, the mighty Quinn. So that was it. We'll thank Quinn at least. They got us ragged now. So we'll thank him for
Taylor
that.
Decker.
Oh, yeah, and Taylor Decker. So thank you for those guys.
Thank you for the offensive
as far as the Lions being born again, they are like a new franchise from that day on. And for what they've done over the last bunch of years here, last 3 years, they've got a lot of fans right now, a lot of fans. And everywhere you go, if you're a Lion fan, you're wearing Lion gear, people come up to you now and say, hey, man, we were rooting for you last year.
Yeah.
We were rooting for you last year. Matter of fact, I have a piece of sound here from Dan Campbell saying at the owners' meetings, owners and coaches were coming up to him and doing the same thing.
A little bit. Certainly there's a lot more of, a lot of people are telling you congratulations and what a year, and, which you would do to them too, and they've had a heck of a year. And so, but I also know what that is too. And like the guy who just said that, we're on their schedule next year. And so, so I understand what it is, and I appreciate it just like I do them. I respect the game, respect the way they coach and their team, but, when it comes time to play, we got to be ready to go.
That's the one thing I love about Dan. Well, there's many things I like about Dan Campbell, Paul, is the ability to stay in the moment, but also go right back to the game, go right back to, I appreciate the compliment, but, this is war. When we play against you guys, and we want to be focused, we want to be dialed in. But when you watch it, like, owners are honest, like coaches are honest. You can see a system that works. You can see players. That's what coaches really want. They want the buy-in from players. Like, they want the players to buy in. They want them to love the program. They want to be around. They want them to want to be there, and owners do as well. And I think you're seeing that in Detroit. They built it ground up. They took care of their guys. Like, that's where you're seeing the change. They're taking care of their guys. They're transparent with their guys. Trust is the thing. But these comments, man, just watching it, you know what it is? It's a double-edged sword. It's a double entendre. It's pride. Like, it's pride, the Lion pride, but also it's pride in the city. It's pride in what they're doing. Like, it's pride in, wanting to win and wanting to make sure guys do well and have that success. So that's what other players are seeing. And, Maz, we talked about this before I go to you, Anson. We talked about this years ago. When we first started, well, I ain't going to say years, but 3 years we were doing this show. When you can get guys to buy in, when you can be honest, people will start wanting to be around you and play for you. And then once you start having success, well, other people want to come there too. And I think, Anson, that's what you're seeing now. They did it their way. They got to the NCAA championship, and all their players are being taken care of, and they're still there. That's why you have that trust.
Yeah, and this started a couple years ago with Hard Knocks. But as much as we've been up to our neck in failure as Lions fans for however many decades you want to count based on your age, people in the NFL they're not ignorant to the failure that this franchise has just gone through year after year after year after year. So when you go from just a perennial punching bag and a W that people can write off on their schedule, and you can transform it in such a short amount of time to not only a winner, but something that's galvanizing people, not only in this state, but they're going to other places, they're going to other arenas, and Honolulu Blue is taking it over before, during, and after the W. Yeah. That's something that as a player, you know the history of the Lions, but when you see them come to your building and they invade it like we did over and over again this last season and then get the W as well, it started with Hard Knocks, it manifests with this last season, and now you're looking at not just, well, do I want to take a bunch of money? No, I want to go win a championship in Detroit. And I think that if you're a player that has any kind of historical knowledge of the NFL, you understand how heralded you will be if you come to Detroit and bring a Super Bowl here.
Yeah, I agree with you 100%, man. People want to play for Dan Campbell. They want to play for the city. I have a friend of mine, Dave Logan. Shout out to Dave. Works with the Detroit Pistons. You've met Dave a couple different times. Yeah. He went to 5 games last year on the road at the Detroit Lions, and he just sent me videos or he FaceTime me, and I'm just watching how this Honolulu Blue and Silver took over New Orleans. You know how hard it is to take over New Orleans?
Yep.
Like, I saw how they took over Kansas City Chiefs. Kansas City Chiefs have one of the strongest fan bases
That's right.
that the NFL has. And the story goes the Los Angeles Chargers. And the story goes they
Green Bay.
Oh, they dominated Green Bay.
That whole place over.
Well, I'm glad you brought up Green Bay. Yesterday, BetMGM released the win totals in terms of 10.5, 9.5, 11.5.
We got the over-unders.
Oh, we have the over and unders for the season. Lions come in the second spot with Buffalo, Cincinnati, Dallas, and Philly at 10.5. It's Baltimore, KC, and San Fran are 11.5. 2 things. We didn't ask this yesterday, man, so I'm going to ask you to jump back in on this one. Anson, we'll start with you. 1, do they hit the over? And 2, do they win the division, which has gotten a lot better? And once you add Caleb Williams to the Bears, you get even better. Talk to me.
I trust these guys.
Okay. What's the
I know
hesitation?
that's a scary thing to say as a
What's the
Lion.
hesitation?
What's that?
What's the hesitation?
Well, the hesitation is I'm a Lions fan, lifelong Lions fan, and I know the deal.
Okay.
I said 9 wins last year.
So you're
I was worried.
You're still stuck in the same old Lions. Seems like.
What have we done that the Lions haven't done before? I could win 2 playoff
They won
games
a
in 1 year.
division.
We have 3 playoff. We've done that before.
No.
Everything we did this last year.
Answer. Lions have never run the NFC North.
That's
they won the NFC Central.
okay.
They won a playoff game downtown Detroit. They didn't do that. They won
Okay.
2 playoff
All right.
games.
All right. That's fair.
They didn't do that. Come
That's
on now,
fair.
Anson. Come on now.
I want to get to the Super Bowl.
Okay.
I think that this team is ready to do it. I really do think they're ready to do it. And the Lions are always going to scare me, but I do believe they win the division. They back-to-back it up.
Okay,
They
I
win
like
their
it.
11 games.
Finally.
I'm going on the over. I can't remember the last time I did that. I can't remember the last time I picked them to win the division,
too.
although I did this last year. Their schedule doesn't scare me any more than last year's schedule does.
I agree. I agree.
I think being the Lions is what scares me off of 12 or 13 wins. But I see 11. I see 11 all day long.
When you look at the division, before I get to Maz, I know he's chomping at the bit. When you look at this division, you see Green Bay.
Yeah.
And you see where they were last year. They were in the same spot the Lions were in. They were minutes away from beating the San Francisco 49ers and playing against the Lions. When you look at Matt LaFleur, you look at Jordan Love, you look at what the Bears have done defense last season, during the season with Montez Sweat, and now in the offseason picking up Keenan Allen and DeAndre Swift. When you look at Minnesota, who's making sneaky moves, very sneaky moves, do you think that is going to be the biggest challenge, is being in arguably the best division in the NFL?
I think that's a great point, because this last year, through the first half of the season, everybody thought we were just going to sweep the division. That obviously didn't happen, but they're all improved vastly.
Yeah.
I love Green Bay. I think that they're going to be a 9-10 win team, and they're going to push us real, real hard. Minnesota's going to struggle without a quarterback. Even if they go out and draft one early, they're going to struggle. And I'm sorry, but Caleb Williams is not the guy.
Okay.
And when as many nice moves, great moves as the Bears have made, they should have kept Justin Fields, I think. I really think they should have kept Justin Fields. So for me, I'm not that worried about them, Chicago, at least this year, but they're certainly on the right path. It's going to be tough to go 3-3 in this division.
Yeah.
That being said, the resolve and this new culture of this Lions team will prevail in them winning the division.
All right, we'll give you a chance here. We all played the game yesterday.
Here we go.
Are you ready? Just say win or loss. Braylon will keep score.
Let's do it.
Got you covered.
These are the home games. Let's start with the division.
Uh-huh.
Bears at home.
W.
Packers.
W.
Vikings.
W.
Bills.
At home,
These are home.
loss.
Jags.
W.
Rams.
W.
Seahawks.
Loss.
What?
I'm just
He don't
saying
even have a
A
quarterback.
loss has to happen somewhere. I got
it
two
was
losses.
it was the game before. You missed it. It would be the Rams
Okay.
game.
What you got? Seahawks loss?
the Rams game.
Ready? You got Seahawks loss, right?
I do.
I wrote it
Bucks.
The Bucks. I'll take a W there.
Titans.
W.
We're going on the road now. Bears.
So that's 7-2, right?
Oh, okay.
down.
Just go.
I got the count.
Just count. Just go.
Loss.
Packers.
Loss.
Vikings.
Win.
Cardinals.
Win.
Cowboys.
Loss.
Colts.
Win.
Texans.
Loss.
49ers.
Win.
What do you got there, Brett?
He has the exact same thing that I actually have. That's funny. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. He's got him on 11-7.
I got him 13 wins.
He's got 11-7. Man, we can get you your 13 wins. I got him 11-6.
11, baby.
Excuse me. I got 11 as well. 11-6. The only difference is I got him losing to the Rams. You got him losing to the Seahawks. But all the other ones I have, I got them losing.
They probably beat the Seahawks. That's a game that's twice circled on their calendar.
But
at
you
this
know,
point.
it's a weird game everywhere, somewhere, and you thinking that's going to be the weird one. Maz, 13 games. You said it yesterday, but also let me ask you this question: you think, or if 13 wins, then you think they're going to win it all?
Well, that was me going through it the first time with you guys.
So
And I have a hard time saying L. I just do. You know, it just L is not in my vocabulary.
I like that.
Especially when you got 9 home games versus the 8 away games. I mean, you got the bonus this year. Yeah, you're playing a first-place schedule, but you've got the bonus this year. You've got the extra home game. Next year, you know, you're on the road in Germany or wherever the hell else they want to send you. London. Next year, for sure, the Lions are going to be on the road somewhere. Take advantage of it this year. Please take advantage of it.
I'd like to see the Lions in Europe. That would be fun.
They beat the Falcons in London, if you remember, quite a few years ago.
I'd love to go to one
on
of
a
those.
last-second Matt Prater field goal, if I'm not mistaken.
That was 15 or 17, maybe?
Yeah, it sounds 15, I think it is.
Woodward abroad.
We were abroad.
we were across the pond, if you will. And look, and this is another thing that we talked about yesterday. Like, yes, the schedule gets tougher. You play first-place teams. You play the 49ers. You play the Cowboys. You play the Bucks, all of which you either beat or could have
Guys,
beaten.
I want to see again.
100%. I want to see how do you respond to last year. You're losing these teams. So, yeah, you play those, but the Lions are also a better team now. The Lions finished as a top 4 team in the NFL last year. They made it to the NFC Championship. The Lions were the second team in the NFC. They won 12 games. You have to look at it through that lens. You got to look at the lens like, all right, so what? The teams get tougher, but the Lions are better than the majority of those teams.
And we got better on paper this offseason, I feel. And we still haven't even hit the draft, which in Brad we trust when it comes to draft time. I mean, for me, I think the Lions got better. I think the Lions learned and gathered experience, which is the one thing that they absolutely had zero of. This is a team that won 2 playoff games and made the NFC Championship. And I think that all that they can, so many people were upset with Dan Campbell when he came back and said, well, we got to get back there. We may not get back there ever again. I like that attitude. Because these guys aren't focused on winning games. These guys are focused on getting to a Super Bowl and winning that Super Bowl week by week, of course. I like the attitude. I like the direction of this team, and I like their offseason moves. Nothing really light the world on fire, and obviously we're going to have to figure out something to cover for Cam Sutton. But we're a better team on paper.
Do you think they're going to go out and get another cornerback in the free agency, or you think they're going to wait to the draft?
Right? They have to, don't they? Let's go get Gilmore. Spend some money.
Yeah, I would love that.
Me too.
Bring some brothers together. The Gilmore brothers.
Right.
Last year was the Okwara brothers, right?
That's right.
Let's keep that brother fraternity
all aboard
going here in Detroit. And how about those new uniforms that are coming out?
Well, I haven't seen those.
2 weeks from yesterday, they'll be. Braylon's going to go. He's going to be at Ford Field for the debut.
Oh, they haven't unveiled him.
No, they haven't announced him
very
yet.
Cool.
You're going to know him, but it looks like there's going to be some black back in the uniform.
I like that.
You okay with that?
Oh yeah. I mean, I'm still the old school dusty gray and the dingy blues from the 50s. I love those.
I like the silver and blue of the Billy Sims era. That was, to me, the perfection. That was perfection to me.
I like bringing the black back. We're in the black and blue division. Let's do it.
We'll see.
Let's do this. Let's take a quick break. When we get back, we can get back into the Detroit Lions, and also we can talk more about NCAA tournament.
Is there any cap or no cap?
As it
starts, you got any top 5, top 10s? Let's go.
We can make some
stuff. You got any quizzes for me?
We can have some fun.
Some trivia?
I'll find some stuff for you, as you know I always do. But first, Pete, let's get a message from WSN Merch, my guy.
That's right, everybody. If you're tired of wearing the same old Detroit sports merch, you can go to shop.woodwardsports.com and grab some new merch. Check out that LFGRW. We all know what that stands for. Go Red Wings, and they definitely need to go because they're not doing too well right now. But get yourself the hoodies, the tees, and the hats that are guaranteed to turn heads. Go to shop.woodwardsports.com. Hey, Maz? What about Jeter? Did you go shopping for Jeter?
Jeter's good on food, but that's where we get it from. We get it from Premier Pet Supply. Hands down, Michigan's best pet store. Family-owned and operated for over 30 years. 13 Metro Detroit locations. 60 brands of food at the lowest prices available. Curbside delivery, and even have nutritionists on call for you guys if you have any questions about your pet or their food or their needs. Give them a try right now at PremierPetSupply.com.
Every year, after a cold and dreary winter, Metro Detroiters come together for 2 things: Tigers baseball and the best damned party in the world. A new season of Tigers baseball is here, and we're bringing in the new season as only Woodward Sports knows how. Broadcasting live from the biggest party. It's the Grand Slam Festival at the Detroit Opera House. Come party with 4,000 Detroit sports fans, starting with Wake Up Woodward and rolling into Big D Energy. This is a party you don't want want to miss with Detroit's best DJs, food trucks, and of course, shots. Get your tickets now at GrandSlamFest.com. 21 plus. See you April 5th at the Grand Slam Fest.
Where's the most convenient place to get that big fitness energy?
It's Planet Fitness.
Join today for just $1 down, $10 a month. With over 2,400 locations and equipment for every workout, you can get in, get energized, and get going. And with free fitness training and most clubs open 24 hours, everyone belongs in the judgment-free zone. So join today for $1 down, $10 a month, no commitment, cancel anytime.
Come to any Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men and claim your throne for a king's treatment from one of our talented stylists. Open 7 days a week, walk in anytime. Just get to a Lady Jane's today and receive a precision haircut, scalp massage, hot lather neck shave, and a hot towel treatment. A haircut should not be a chore. It should be an experience. And that's exactly what Lady Jane's has to offer. Open 7 days a week, walk-ins are always welcome. There's always a location near you. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men, it's wicked awesome.
Congratulations to the real Coach of the Year, Motor City Dan Campbell.
Just put your head down and go to work. It's about to be fun, man. It's about to be fun.
Woodward Sports.
Hey guys, awesome is when a guy can come in and be a guy and get an amazing haircut as well. That's Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men. Stop in, sit back and relax. Let one of Lady Jane's talented stylists make you look and feel great. Walk in anytime, 7 days a week. Lady Jane's, you know it. It's wicked awesome.
It is wicked awesome. Welcome back to Ermanni and Edwards with Maz. Second hour of the show on this beautiful Friday. Weather's holding up for us, 51 degrees or so. Tigers won yesterday, so it's looking up for the weekend. Maz,
There'll be some traffic downtown, guys, tonight. If you're going down going down to Little Caesars tonight. Tigers are off, so you're good with there. They're on the road. So there's gonna be a lot of people down there from a lot of different colleges. It's gonna be a fun people watching night tonight. I'm looking forward to getting down there. I have not seen a Sweet 16 in a while, and in 2 years, Detroit will be the home of the Final Four. Probably be over at Ford Field, but it will be here. And remember the last time it was here? I think
Michigan State,
MSU made
North
it to
Carolina.
the final there, buddy.
And they got waxed.
But they got waxed.
I got a chance to catch a young man that played for Davidson.
Yes,
Steph Curry, 100%.
Isn't
Against
that
Wisconsin.
So cool seeing there.
Against Wisconsin, I want to say. Davidson, Wisconsin, I think.
But they lost to I want to say an ACC team, or I don't recall. He was fantastic to see at that young of an age and in person. And honestly, seeing a ball game at Ford Field is really cool. Basketball, that is.
Yeah, I went to that game as well back then in North Carolina. Raymond Felton, they just led from jump. Danny Green.
Yeah, they beat him at the beginning of the year, too.
Yeah, true, very true. But not to get into that. More so about the Sweet 16. Look, the Sweet 16 is here. Anson starts tonight. Purdue, Gonzaga, your first matchup. But haven't really seen a lot about it, and we've talked about this. Is Detroit so focused on the draft that will be here? You're talking about, about 3 weeks? Is Detroit so focused on the draft that they kind of dropped the ball on the Sweet 16, or is it going to be better than we think?
I'm glad you brought that up because I just learned last week that he was even here.
Yeah.
Yep.
And
if I wasn't in this business paying attention to this stuff, I hardly heard about it.
The only reason I even heard about it was a guy in my Dynasty Baseball League was like, hey, if Oakland wins this second game, will they be playing at Ford Field? I'm like, I didn't know we were hosting.
It's at Little Caesars tonight, by the way.
I mean, listen, you shouldn't be focused on, even as big as the draft is being here, we've got the Sweet 16 here. Everybody should be knowing about it. Yeah. I haven't made any plans to go downtown, and now hearing you talk about it, I might be down there tonight.
Well, I'll tell you, whoever wins tonight, the losing team, you guys could pick up tickets really cheap for Sunday. The losing team, they go out, they got this ticket for, they buy 2 games. If you're online right now, if you go on Ticketmaster, forget StubHub even, just Ticketmaster. Tickets for this game is like $500 and above for these games tonight.
Yeah.
Because you get 2 games. $500 and above just to walk in the building and maybe sit in the upper tier. But Sunday's game, which is Easter Sunday, and I'm not sure of the time of the game, but you'll be able to go to that game, guys. So I'm giving you, as a guy that's been to a lot of these kind of events, the losers of tonight's game will be giving their tickets away for Sunday. So if you want to go, get down to Little Caesars tonight and they don't have hard tickets anymore. That's the problem, right? Everything's on your phone. So you got to be careful, though.
Speaking of on your phone, one thing that is on your phone now, and it is rampant. I myself, it's on my phone, and it's on most of you guys right here, is betting. Sports betting. There's a new story out. Yep. NCAA aiming to remove all prop betting from college sports. Tom Mazaway, you're the resident gambler in terms of knowing the bylaws of it.
What did we talk about the other day?
We did.
What pro did we talk about that's going to probably get kicked out of the league?
Shohei Ohtani.
Not even him, the basketball player that played in the G League and then moved up to the NBA.
Oh, that's right.
His name is escaping me right now, but there was improprieties.
From the Toronto Raptors.
From the Raptors, yes. I wish I could think of his name. It'll come to me. He used to play for the Pistons G League team as well. So nonetheless, this guy, let's just say the over-under for points that night, Anson, is
Jonte Porter.
I said
Jonte Porter. Yep. There you go. Yep. Let's say the over-under for his points for the night was 8. The minute he got 6, he would say, but something in my eye, I got to go sit out. But then just a week ago, it happened again. So they've kind of circled on this guy, and they're like, because the NBA is now taking in-game betting. If you watch the NBA on NBA TV, you can do in-game betting with MGM, FanDuel, all the rest of them. That's trouble.
Yep.
So to take it out of college, and who'd we talk about? The quarterback that was a real bad quarterback. He played for Vanderbilt. Remember? He didn't have much stats, but he said, hey, the mob came up to me, offered me whatever, $300,000, $100,000 to dump a game. And there's plenty of guys that are in the NBA and NFL that have been offered these deals and might have taken those deals. To take prop bets out of college sports, I'm all for it.
And that's the thing, too, and I'll throw this over to you, Anson, is, it's one thing where you talk about the NBA when guys are professional. Guys make money. Guys have tons of it. You're not going to see it as much. But when you're talking about guys that are in college who may not have NIL deals or may not be exposed to
with an over-under of 4.5 points.
100%. And you're talking about putting some hard cash in their hand right now. Like anybody, they're easier to get to. And I think this is a good thing. Look, don't even put it in a situation where they can be influenced.
Yeah.
Take it out of their hands. And I think that's what they're trying to do. What say you?
You're talking about a guy at the end of the roster who has an over-under of 3.5, 4.5 points. He's not making the NBA. He's not getting NIL money. And now somebody's coming to him and be like, don't take that extra shot. We've already, if you're on Instagram, you'll see plenty of little clips of NBA situations where guys who have a 5.5 over have a wide open layup with 4 points and they kick it out. I think that gambling being completely intertwined with sports is so dangerous. You got a guy with 3,000 hits who can't get into the Hall of Fame because he bet. And now you've got every single sportscast and ESPN, even guys in the middle of games talking about lines. So how you can expect the vast number of college athletes to all be able to resist just, hey, don't get that extra assist, don't get that extra rebound. It's one thing when you're talking about a whole Black Sox team throwing an entire series or an entire game. It's a lot harder to do that. But when you got one guy that just makes one less pass, one less rebound, takes one less shot, he can't be the only one, right?
He's not, he won't be the only one. This dates back to a long time ago.
Sure.
And also, the Arizona State scandal that came out in 91, 92. It happens, but now you're making it easier for it to happen. It's not fair to the kids. You can say what you want to. Kids are broke. These kids are broke, especially like you said, at the end of the bench, so it's easy to coerce.
The non-NIL kids.
And 100%. It's easy to coerce them to follow through. So good job by the NCAA. It's like the first thing they've gotten right in Lord knows how long.
I want to bring this Joe Pompliano tweet up. You guys keep talking for a minute because I want to read this to you guys.
Maz, what do you think about this best coaching bracket? But you want to stay with this?
I want to stay with this gambling for a minute.
Stay with the gambling.
I want to read to you guys.
While you figure that out.
What Joey P put out the other day.
Anson, I'm going to ask you this question. Speaking of gambling, Shohei Ohtani is now the big moniker as it talks to gambling, what happened, what didn't happen, fired his interpreter. Did we talk about this?
We did.
But now it's seeming more and more like it actually is Shohei making the bets. I don't even know what the question is behind it. But it's just more interesting that now Maz and Ryan hit me to game. It's no way this isn't Shohei Ohtani.
That's what we talked about. That's what we talked about last Friday.
So
I think that's the deal.
So how do you hide this if you're the MLB?
You do exactly what you did. You get the guy out of town.
Okay.
You cut him off from any microphone.
Which won't be hard in Japan.
And they already did, and you just keep playing ball games because they've turned him into the face of the MLB. They cannot afford to take him away. I mean, there's still old school fans that are crying about Pete Rose. So they're not even going to allow the conversation to take root. Did this guy actually gamble? It's all on one guy, and we're not going to hear much of it by midseason.
Here it is. From the last week, listen to this. NBA integrates live betting odds into its broadcast.
Wow.
Shohei Ohtani accuses his interpreter of betting $4.5 million on sports. Cavs coach J.B. Bickerstaff says his family has been threatened by sports bettors. Tyrese Halliburton says he feels like a prop.
Wow.
Jonte Porter being investigated by the NBA for irregularities on prop bets. And things are getting worse, fellas. Things are getting worse. But the NCAA at least taking a step up, maybe, finally doing a thing that's in the right move here to take prop betting at least out of college sports. And I don't bet prop bets. Oh, Bray, you're huge on prop bets. As a matter of fact, you hit one the other night.
I did.
I don't know how the hell you did it. You picked players that aren't hardly even playing, and you're hitting them. I mean, you're paying attention to the game. Right. You really got to be a student of the game to hit those props, or you just got to get lucky.
Also, you got to get lucky. But, man, let me ask you a bigger question. Like, we know how Vegas and the numbers and sports betting got started. It was all mob. Mob brought out there from New York, brought out there from Youngstown, Kansas City. We can get into it. Not now. But it's the mob. Just because you now put a digital site on it, just because you now put a casino on it, just because you now put a friendly corporation on it, it's still handled to a certain extent by the people that started these casinos. So if these things are happening, which they probably are, like, this is chaos.
Yeah. I bring it up because when I was a kid in 1972, sitting with my father watching football games, he's telling me, hey, Tommy, it's a Broadway show. I'm like, what, Dad?
It's like boxing.
I'm like, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
The
No,
NFL,
you can't be. It's not true. It is true.
The NFL realigned their business at the same time that they made these deals with MGM and all of the betting sites, FanDuel and whatnot. They are now considered an entertainment business in the same classification as the World Wrestling Federation. I don't know what they're called and what WWE stands for.
WWE.
Some people call the NFL the WWE.
Entertainment. Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, exactly. That's what the E stands for. So
The Rock is back, baby. Just want to throw that out.
To me, what I've seen in sports over the last couple of years, what I watched out of the Kansas City Chiefs and the calls and the lack of holds while holds were being called on the 49ers, I don't have a large amount of faith in the business anymore when you're partnered with MGM and FanDuel and DraftKings and all of the other ones. This is there's too many billions of dollars on the line for these guys when bets also are involved to really even care about who wins a championship, as long as they're making their money.
What was that funny tweet? Pete, maybe you could help me. From the other day, someone like, let's go to ESPN, brought to you by ESPN Bet.
Yeah.
And FanDuel brings you this, MGM Grand brings you blah, blah. It's like a joke. Everything. Yep. I'm watching bowling, and you can bet on bowling. Yep. I can't, it's unbelievable to me. Unbelievable.
Yeah.
Poker guy. I like to play poker, hardcore professional style. And now on poker shows, you can bet on what hand is going to come up.
Oh my God.
In the middle of the tournament. Like, are these aces going to win, or are they going to get cracked? Is somebody going to be dealt a straight? It's all over the place.
Well, it wasn't enough to bet on just who's going to win, the Lions or the Bears. It got to the point where, is it going to be a sweep right? Is it going to be a pass to the tight end? I mean, people are so caught up and addicted to gambling, even when you're not a gambling addict.
Yeah.
It's pervaded into every portion of our life at this point. And sports was kind of the last frontier in the fact that that's what everybody was betting on, but you couldn't talk about it. You couldn't mention it on broadcast. You couldn't mention it during the game. And when you've got Troy Aikman in the middle of a game talking about lines and spreads, it just tarnishes it. It absolutely tarnishes.
Think about it. I mean, you're betting on a freaking coin toss.
Yeah.
You're betting on the length of the national anthem. And then they got to go and make sure that the national anthem, that the singer didn't hold her tune for 1 second over. Last year they had to pay the over and the under on the national anthem on the Super Bowl because she stopped and then said another word at the end again, Reba McEntire. It's crazy, man. And they made a deal with the devil, and they're going to lose. They're going to lose. There's players. We saw Jamison Williams. We almost lost him for 6 games. Thank goodness that the NFL reconsidered, only made it 4 games. Calvin Ridley lost the whole season because he bet a few dollars from his couch when he was convalescing at home. Jamison Williams bets in a team hotel in Oshkosh, wherever the hell they were, and he gets hammered. To me, it's just you can't do both. You can't. It has to be illegal gambling, like the old tickets that I used to have and hand out at the bowling alley. You know, you circle 5 numbers, 6 numbers, $10 on it. That was.
Now see,
it don't work, man. Legal gambling, in the long run, it's gonna kill you.
I think the big thing too is now people just want to put things out, and I'll make that make sense. Now people are so happy to please the masses and please everybody involved. They just put systems out that aren't vetted. You look at NIL. NIL is the wild, wild west. They put a system out because it took too long, and then eventually you got to a point you got sued, you got scared. You put the NIL out, but you didn't know it was going to turn into what it is now. Same with sports betting. You didn't vet the process. You said, all right, cool, this is a good deal. We just won't let players bet. Boom, let's throw it out there. And now you got situation, or you got example after example after example of kids and players and coaches even betting on sports. That's what happened when you don't vet a process. You just throw it out there to the masses, and this is what it's turning into.
I think there's a greater concern. When you say that it won't last, I'm worried that it's so entrenched that it's going to affect not only sports, but it's going to affect the human beings. Because when I was young, people that were 18 didn't bet on sports. You got 25-ish and up, you started betting. You had your own bookie. I know 12-year-olds that are making bets.
100%.
You know what I'm saying? And it's become such a part, like if you're 10 years old, if you're 13 years old and you're watching sports, your whole sport watching life for the last 5 years has involved lines and bets and props and all of those things to the point where it's just part of the rhetoric that when you watch a game, this is what's expected. And so now you got these kids that are watching their dad bet on their handheld device, that are learning how to do it on their own. And, I mean, 20 years ago, these kids were learning fantasy football. Now they're learning MGM.
Yeah.
And, the bottom line for the NFL and these other sport associations ultimately is it's going to be a bigger bottom line if they're allowing the betting. But it's going to hurt the games. It's going to hurt the integrity and our trust in the outcomes.
It's Ryan hit it on the head the other day. Ryan said there are more suicides by gamblers than drugs and alcohol combined.
Wow.
Because people go out
they all
and they lose.
They all go together, though.
I understand that.
Yeah, true.
I understand that. But I'm telling you, gambling, you might not talk about it as much as drugs and alcohol. It's equally as bad or even worse. And now that you hold it right here, and like you said, kids are doing it, the cat's out of the bag, man.
Yeah. I don't see him going backwards, that's for sure.
Hey, I'm a gambler from way back. I love betting on the horses. My favorite thing to do.
It's still your ringtone.
It is what it is. I'm just saying, it's not good. That's all I'm saying.
Well,
Man, I feel like I won the life lottery. I hate gambling.
Right.
I hate it, especially when you're playing against the house or a ball that can fall off the rim
gonna
and the
lose.
Clippers could lose to the Lakers.
You're going to lose.
Give me some fantasy football where I'm putting my knowledge against 9 of my friends. It's like it's an adult male knitting club.
Right.
We get together one time a year and we get to stay in contact with each other. Somebody loses a couple $100, but you stick around long enough, you're going to win the pool. But betting against the house, betting against the ball clanging or going in, and then now when you got the opportunity for some of these guys to get paid on their own props, integrity's right out the window.
Well, who's betting against the house being the Detroit Lions, is the San Francisco 49ers. Appreciate you, Pete. Some rare RFA action. Lions restricted free agent Brock Wright has signed an offer sheet from the 49ers, sources
You're kidding.
Double Brock?
We lost Brock?
Brock.
The Lions gave Brock, a key part of their offense, particularly in the run game, a 1-year, $2.985 original round RFA tender. If Detroit declines to match what the 49ers have paid, he'll be going to the enemy, and that is Brock Wright. What say you, Maz, about Brock Wright? Brock Wright's a guy obviously there at tight end by committee until Sam Laporta last year bust onto the scene, and he legitimately paused one of the best tight ends in the NFL, not talking about age, talking about just the position. Are you okay with that? Because Brock Wright has made some big plays for
I know Dan Campbell loves him. I know they love their own guys. Shane Zylstra, they re-signed him into a free agent contract pending on his health. Brock Wright got hurt at the end of the year. What'd they do? They brought in, who was the tight end they brought in? The great tight end.
Oh, they brought in Zach Ertz.
Zach Ertz. He got in for the last game, did not play. Matter of fact, he didn't even suit up, hoping to suit up in the Super Bowl. So, hey, Zach Ertz is out there. Maybe Zach Ertz will take a cheaper deal, maybe the same type of deal, or
he took
maybe he'll just retire and call it a day. But I think they matched that on Brock Wright. I do. How much is the Sanford?
$2.985.
Okay, I say they match it.
I hope they do. This is a guy like Jalen Reeves-Maben. He's unsung.
Mm-hmm.
You don't get to see all the time what he's doing, but I recall a couple of massive catches and a massive touchdown 2 years ago, but he comes up with timely catches, and that run game wasn't as good as it was all season last year just because of 5 offensive linemen. It was because of Laporta. It was because of guys like Brock Wright and the entire game, that 12 personnel that we employ sometimes. I'd love to see him come back.
How about we do this? How about we take a break? I feel like we've had some good conversation. Let's take a break. And then when we come back, let's talk more about the Detroit Lions also, because the schedules for the teams that come out in terms of offseason workouts as well as minicamp has come out. We'll talk about the Lions.
And around the NFL, too.
And then we will go around the NFL. But first, Pete Spivak, let's get a message from Swiss Insurance.
Well, I have good news and I have bad news. The bad news is the San Fran 49ers have signed Brock Wright to a contract. No, I'm just kidding. The bad news is that insurance rates are going up across the board in Michigan. The good news is that Swiss Insurance is here to help. Right now, more than ever, it's critical for you to have your insurance reviewed, and Swiss will make sure your carrier does not slip in extra fees or raise deductibles. Call Mark at Swiss Insurance today or visit SwissINS.com and tell them that Woodward Sports sent you. But also, what happens when you see that black and yellow sign out in front of your house? It tells the bad guys, and especially myself, one thing.
Stay out.
That's right. It's a new year. Let Guardian Alarm offer you customized solutions from real experts, 24/7 professional monitoring, and technology backed by people. Your safety and security deserves technology that's been proven to work and by people who have been proven to care. Call 1-800.
Stay out.
That's 1-800.
Stay out.
Call them today and tell them Woodward Sports sent ya.
Stay out.
We'll be right back.
Every year, after a cold and dreary winter, Metro Detroiters come together for two things: Tigers baseball and the best damned party in the world. A new season of Tigers baseball is here, and we're bringing in the new season as only Woodward Sports knows how. Broadcasting live from the biggest party. It's the Grand Slam Festival at the Detroit Opera House. Come party with 4,000 Detroit sports fans, starting with Wake Up Woodward and rolling into Big D Energy. This is a party you don't want to miss, with Detroit's best DJs, food trucks, and of course, shots. Get your tickets now at GrandSlamFest.com. 21 plus. See you April 5th at the Grand Slam Fest.
Big Boy Seafood Fest is sailing in with a fresh catch of favorites. Dive into fish and chips, our new palm-crusted cod, perfectly fried clam shrimp platter, or a delicious fish sandwich. Try our new mango iced tea, the ultimate complement to our popcorn shrimp, our all-new fried pickles, shrimp alfredo, or shrimp stir-fry. Experience all the sea has to offer every Friday night with our all-you-can-eat seafood buffet. Every day is a fish fry, only at Big Boy.
And with the first pick in the 2024 Media Draft, Detroit selects Woodward Sports. Thank you for making us the #1 digital network in Detroit.
Stop searching for a vehicle and start finding one. Les Stanford Chevrolet Cadillac makes it easy. We harness the power of multiple dealerships and own the biggest selection of GM brands in the area to get you the car you need. With the Les Stanford Group, you'll have access to 4 different dealerships, providing you with more makes, more models, and more choices. We're connected to more than 1,000 vehicles. And with so many high-quality CPO vehicles available, you'll find new car quality at pre-owned prices. You can start and end your search at lesstanford.com today.
Congratulations to the real Coach of the Year, Motor City Dan Campbell.
Just put your head down and go to work. It's about to be fun, man. It's about to be fun.
Woodward Sports.
In the words of Mike G in the chat, Les Stanford, more Maz. What happens when you run a great business for over 50 years? You expand and you offer more products to more people. This is exactly what Les Stanford did by adding Les Stanford Buick GMC, the same great service that customers have come to know and trust on Woodward, just south of 9 Mile. Check out Les Stanford and Dearborn also today at lesstanford.com. lesstanford.com. Let's drive together. And also, look, you guys got to get on board. I'm trying to tell you, we're talking about the best team, in my opinion, in the NFC. We can talk about it on the show, best team in the NFC. Well, Shake Shack and Woodward Sports are giving you an opportunity to win 2 tickets to the home opener. This is Detroit, the Lions we're talking about, the Kings in the North. All you got to do is scan the QR code on the TV. And if you're not watching, well, when you get home, go to woodwardsports.com. You also can click that link, or you can just go in and try the Chicken Shack Shake Shack sandwich. That is a tongue twister. And when you do that, you can register on location. QB Challenge, win 2 tickets. Look, I'm trying to go to home opener, but you can go for free. Shake Shack QB Challenge. All right, welcome back, Ermanni and Edwards.
Nice job on those spots.
I appreciate that. Thank you so much.
Nice job.
Thank you much. You know, the Shake Shack one is a tongue twister because the sandwich is called the Chicken Shack, but it's Shake Shack, and also Chicken Shack used to be a restaurant, a staple in Detroit. So anyway, too much about that. Talking about the NFL, but before we get there, tell me what you saw about Brock Wright as it relates to his contract, as it relates to what the Lions will potentially not receive if this goes through.
We tendered him at 2.985 for this season, but there's no draft compensation attached to that. So if San Francisco were to get him, they get him for free. Nothing to deter them from signing him. I mean, it's 4 years in the league. He's had a pretty decent statistical season for a second, third string tight end. It's really more about what this guy does on the field that you don't see versus getting into the end zone.
And behind the scenes.
100%. You know,
obviously they stuck with them. They stick with these guys, man. They believe in them. That's why they traded T.J. Hockenson away. Sure, they had their eyes set on Sam Laporta. They didn't know they were going to get him. They didn't know they were going to get Laporta when they traded Hockenson. They went with Zylstra and Brock Wright, and they almost damn near made the playoffs. Remember Brock Wright? He went, 60 yards against the Jets?
He did.
To beat him?
I was there.
There you go. I mean, they love him.
You also got to give the reason why they're probably like that is you got to give the tight end credit. Tight end coach, that is Steve Hyden.
Yep.
I played with Steve Hyden when I was with the Cleveland Browns. I know him. He was a focuser on blocking, but also Steve had wheels. Also Steve can catch. So if Steve Hyden, who's the coach and has to give his input to Dan Campbell, has to give his input to Ben Johnson, if they moved on from Brock Wright, if they're cool with this and they don't match, it's letting me know that Steve Hyden believes that they're in good hands with Sam Laporta and Zylstra, which I also think. Maz, take us around the NFL.
You bet, buddy. You bet. Here we go, guys. Around the NFL. Let's get a little music under us, Mike. Let's keep it under us. Here we go. How about this? This is the latest crazy deal. There's another team that wants a quarterback, and it's none other than the Las Vegas Raiders. Word on the street is they are, quote, unquote, desperate to trade up to number 3 to draft Jaden Daniels from LSU, the Heisman Trophy winner.
This makes sense, and as I answer, I'll tee it up and see what you think. But this is why I think this makes sense. It's Vegas. It's Vegas. The Las Vegas Raiders aren't even the biggest show in town yet. I know football is king. UFC is still number 1, and the Las Vegas Aces in basketball are number 2. The Golden Knights, then the Aces, then the Raiders. What do you need in this day and age in the NFL to be exciting? Not necessarily win games, but be exciting. Got to have a quarterback that can get out of the pocket. Got to have a quarterback like Jaden Daniels that you 100%. Saw win the Heisman at LSU. I think this is a move. One, he's 2 or 3 best quarterback in the draft, but also he's exciting. He's electric. You want to get people to come to stadium that you built that cost $2.4 billion in the Legion, you got to put some booties in the seats.
Is Al Davis still alive? Is this his call?
The Ghost.
Because this is as Raiders as you get. Yeah. I do think that he's one of the two best out of the four. So I like the move. I actually like him as a player. But if he fails and he's not the guy that I think that he is, he will absolutely be the most Raider pick that they could. I'm sure they'll overpay to get up there to do it. Raiders going to Raider.
Man, Raiders say it right now. They're at 13. They were one of the teams I mentioned months ago that need a quarterback and was a wild card. I also said the Broncos. And I said the Saints were an outside shot. And I said the Minnesota Vikings months ago were going to trade up and they're going to get their guy. And I thought it was J.J. McCarthy all the way. But to get to number 3, New England sitting there, they are a shell of their team, a shell. They will be drafting in the top 3 again next season, more than likely. Jared Mayo has got a bear cabinet there in Foxborough. So if the Raiders and the Patriots are going to do it, they're going to do business. But it's going to cost the Vegas Raiders hefty to move up to number 3.
And, Maz, that's what I was going to say. The Vegas Raiders, they just don't have it. I mean, you look at what their franchise is now. They had a horrible season last year. They got a good game, a good win.
They're mediocre. That's it.
They don't
mediocre.
They're mediocre, and I think they're less than that. But we'll go with Maz's words.
What sucks for the Raiders, I mean, I'd love to see the Raiders do well.
But the Raiders have been mediocre since the Super Bowl.
Yeah,
and that
forever.
was in 2002. So they suck. They're going to give up too much. And you're banking all your first-round picks, which would be 2 this year, which would be 1 next year, or however you want to do it. That seems to be the deal in play nowadays. To do that, to get a quarterback you don't trust, and then what if he's not it? Once again, like Anson said, it's the Raiders going Raider.
There you go. All right, we move on now.
O'Connell showed enough where you don't make all of that investment at this point. I don't get it.
Well, they're going with him right now as we speak. They are saying, yes, that's going to be our guy. Antonio Pierce, the coach of the Raiders, says, yeah, why not? We're gonna give him a shot to win this battle. They let Jimmy G go. Jimmy G went to the Rams now. He crossed California and went to the Rams. So
Devontae hated Jimmy G.
There you go. All right, here we go. The other day we talked about a little riff at the NFL owners meetings between Woody Johnson, the owner of the Jets, and Robert Saleh, the head coach of the Jets. Supposedly they got at each other's faces, blah, blah, blah. Woody's pissed. Look what Woody said. Ray, read what Woody said.
All this nonsense about heated argument between Coach Saleh and me at the league meeting is absolutely false. It is yet another irresponsible report from NFL Network. Please disregard. All right, look, I know.
Hold on. They own the NFL Network. The owners own the NFL Network.
100%.
He is literally taking a crap on his own network, and it's Colleen Wolfe. Colleen Wolfe, an excellent reporter, is the one that said it, Ray. Read it up.
And this is from Colleen Wolfe regarding my comments surrounding the Jets on the Around the NFL podcast. No, I was not at the annual meeting. And yes, I was told of the exchange between head coach Robert Saleh and Woody Johnson by someone in attendance. Others on site Sunday night have since reached out and described the interaction differently. My intent wasn't to break the news. I leave that to the insiders. My sincerest apologies to the Jets organization for the unnecessary distraction during such a crucial part of their season. So look, I can cut through this with a butter knife. It's not that thick. Pause. Like you just said, Maz, the NFL Network is owned by the owners. They're the original ones to put the money behind it, to get the network started, to get more eyes on the game.
And they feed them.
So when Woody Johnson comes out and says that, they had no choice but to retract that statement and say, well, this isn't what I heard. Meanwhile, we know that this was 100% true.
Oh, yeah.
100% true.
Deny.
Deny the lie.
Even here in Detroit, we got a team that had no idea that they're starting cornerbacks on the lam, you know? To me, it's like
deny.
Yeah, it's all smoke and mirrors, man. They're not going to tell us what's actually going on.
All right, here's one for us. This is one of Braylon and I.
The Jets are done.
We dig this. We dig this player, and we were hoping that the Lions might throw something at him, but we kind of knew they wouldn't. And it's Jadeveon Clowney. You know he's going to find, like you say, Bray, he's going to find 10 sacks. Well, he signed on with the Carolina Panthers, who are trying to compete, I guess. 2 years, $20 million for the old quarterback chaser and Jadeveon Clowney.
Yeah, Jadeveon Clowney, I mean, that's basically $10 million a year for a guy that's in year 2013. So he's in year 11, year 12. still can play at a high level. But look, Detroit, they want to do it that way. They want to make sure the players that they're throwing the money at, regardless if it's $10 million, if it's $19 million, or if it's $4 million, they want to make sure it's guys that they can grow, guys that have a chip on their shoulder, guys that can come in and fit the role.
Yep.
Jadeveon has always been Jadeveon wherever he's been, and maybe they fear that. I think he would have been a good addition, but at the same time, I am in the majority. Trust Brad Holmes. Trust the decisions in the draft. Trust the decisions in free agency. Would have loved to see him here, but at the same time, I understand this wasn't in the cards.
Yeah, I mean, in Brad we trust. We've seen a lot of guys that fit the mold of a veteran that could make an impact on this team. That seems like the situation was right to get them here, and we passed. And it's their commitment to the culture that got them to this point that allowed them to turn around this franchise. And I don't think that they are willing to leave that at all. This team isn't frugal. They're just not willing to sign the wrong guys.
And I don't have a problem with that. You see what they did in the offseason. Look, it wasn't as sexy as you wanted to be. It wasn't Danielle Hunter. It wasn't, I guess you're trading for Khalil Mack, who's still in the contract. It wasn't L'Jarius Sneed. It wasn't
a big name.
But what they did was they added depth. You added DJ Reader. You added Davenport. You added Meek Roberts. You added Carlton Davis III. You added key pieces at positions and staples that you need. So I trust it. We'll see how it works. It works until it doesn't.
Who did Clowney hit and who did Clowney clown for the Wolverines?
It wasn't Toussaint. You
remember? Vincent? Was it Vincent Smith?
Yes, it was Vincent Smith.
Vincent Smith. He never recovered, did he?
No. But to be honest, if you be honest and watch that play, he got shot out of a cannon at 6'6", 275, runs of 4.4. Like, no one would have recovered from that hit. He almost picked it up and scored, too.
Oh, God.
Sheesh. That was the beginning of the end.
Here's another one, guys. Brock Purdy. We were just talking about Brock, right? Could be Brock to Brock here.
Double
Brock Purdy next year might be breaking the bank, they're saying. Brock Purdy, Mr. Irrelevant. Last player taken in the draft is cashing in next year as long as he stays healthy. We'll knock wood for him.
Anson, I'll let you get the first crack at this.
I think it's going to happen. I mean, unless he absolutely falls on his face. He's got all the lore around him. I'm big into the sports memorabilia. He is the hottest player in the NFL, period. I mean, more than C.J. Stroud or anybody else. He is the hottest. I don't see them letting him go. I don't see anybody being able to sign him for anything short of crazy money. That being said, I'm not a full Purdy believer. I think that he's surrounded with one of the best teams on the offense and defensive side. I've never really seen him put the team on his back to lead it the way that these guys get paid do. But at the same point, they're winning and it's working, and you stay away from change, so you re-sign the kid.
Here's what Jed York, the CEO of the team, said about Brock Purdy. It's a good problem when your quarterback is one of the highest paid guys on your team and in the league. It's what the market is. Brock is going to ask for something that no one has ever asked for before. I don't know how many players are making over $40 million annually as a quarterback right now, but he's going to be one of them. Yeah, that's the guy. That's the CEO of the Niners talking.
So he needs to be a little bit more dialed into the game. The fact that he made this comment, I played for Jed York. Shout out to Jed York. He's a great guy. Tells me that he hasn't had to play a quarterback. Hasn't really had to play a quarterback because he haven't had a quarterback. There's a lot of quarterbacks making 40 or more. Brock Purdy is going to be one of them, but this is how you get ahead of the curve. You give Brock Purdy a deal now, man. 3-year extension, $120. You give him $40 million a year. Get him signed, get him happy, get him cool. Then you'll be able to restructure that deal in 2 years or 3 years, and you can see what he really is, as opposed to letting it wait, letting it stew, and now you're on the hook for $53 million because the market is going up for Brock Purdy and Mr. Irrelevant. If I'm Jed York, look here. Here's 3 years, $126 million right now. That's what, 42 a year. It's $42 million a year. Yeah, so
can you imagine Brock Purdy ever thinking he would make that kind of change?
You know, the crazy thing about these stories, though, Maz, is like,
he was almost a free agent, man.
But see, the crazy thing about these stories is the outside person and the outside fan or the outside analyst, we look at it that way. These players, I've been there, they always believe that their talent is going to find the level. It's
That's
always
the only way they get to that level.
Exactly, that mental. They stay sharp. So he's making good money, but I don't believe this is a surprise to him at all because he doesn't act like it when he's at the podium.
I got an interesting story about Brock Purdy in San Francisco.
Okay.
So when they had the number 2 pick and they had an opportunity to take Pat Mahomes, they actually didn't look at Pat Mahomes. They didn't scout him or look at him at all because they were positive that Kirk Cousins was going to leave the Redskins and they were going to sign him, the Commanders. Well, the Redskins at the time.
Yeah.
They end up later on in the draft trading up to sign CJ or to draft CJ Beathard, right?
Yeah.
CJ Beathard was then traded for the last pick in the draft. And guess who that ended up being?
Brock Purdy.
Indeed.
And the other side of that story is the quarterback coach, Brian Griese, for the Niners, said, hey,
take a flyer.
Let's take a flyer on this guy. I've done his games because he was an announcer. He was a broadcaster with ABC. Let's take a chance. I like this kid. That's why they drafted him. That's why the Niners took Brock Purdy, because they listened to Brian Griese, who covered some of his games in college.
Before we finish talking about Brock Purdy, I'll just say what we didn't say. He deserves the money, and I'll tell you why. Back-to-back NFC championships, and 1 year he goes to the Super Bowl. They would have went to the Super Bowl the year before if he doesn't get hurt. I believe that they would have went to that game. So you're talking 2 years. It doesn't matter where he was drafted. It doesn't matter what the name was. He's gotten to the NFC Championship 2 years in a row, and he's gotten to the Super Bowl in the second year, which many people doubted him. I don't care how good the team is. You want to sit here and talk about great teams? How many great teams did Joe Montana have when he got to the Super Bowl? How many great teams did Peyton Manning have when he got to the Super Bowl? You want to start naming the roster that Aaron Rodgers in his only Super Bowl win? You want to name that roster and the All-Stars they have? So it still takes a quarterback to lead that system, no matter how good it is. So he's earned that money. They're going to have to come out of that bread.
Hey, sidebar to our Vincent Smith conversation with Jadavian Clowney. Matt Broder was our Lions beat reporter. And, of course, one of the hosts of our morning Woodward show.
Wake Up Woodward.
Good morning. Wake Up Woodward. He said, I had class with Vincent that semester. And he didn't say a word in class for the rest of the year.
That's what it was. Matt was on the show and he told us that. Yeah, he told us that same story. What's up, Matt? How you doing? Yeah, that's
Matt's U of M's finest.
Brutal.
Matt Broder.
It's not a lot to talk about when things like that happen. Those big moments that don't go so well. Can you imagine being on Ann Arbor's campus as a football player after trouble with the snap?
Woo. That shapes your whole life.
Which isn't fair, but it's very real. Life's not fair, but those moments, man.
It's on national TV in front of millions of people. Yeah. You can't hide. Broder's got something else for you.
So what does he have to say?
He wants to know your thoughts on drafting Mikey Sanders at 29. And I love this question.
I like the evolution of Mikey Sanders as a DB. I like what he was able to bring to that team in terms of leadership, in terms of just ability. And you see he's made a lot of big plays. It doesn't matter about him transferring from the wide receiver position. A lot of the big plays they made in the big games, whether it was a Ohio State game 2 years, knocking the pass down, whether it's an interception in national champ, there's plays he made at the highest level. So the playmaking ability is there. If the Lions saw enough and they took Mikey Sanders at 29, I don't have a problem with it. Me, I don't know. I don't know if I pull that trigger. But one thing you do know, Harbaugh's kids, Harbaugh's players, they play the game the right way. I know we have, back and forth, Michigan State, Michigan, but you can give me that answer. Play the right way. At least the kids do. The kids do.
You're national champs. I'm not pushing back.
NFL scouts have said Michigan players are 2 years ahead.
They play the right way.
Of any other players.
You look at the speed, you look at the physicality, you look at what he's done at that position. I saw his film in terms of his footwork and actually being able to. He's a DB. Yeah. He's transformed to DB, but he still has wide receiver hands. So look, if they took him at 29, who am I saying any different? I like it. I like it.
And if they like him, I like him.
They like it. I love it. It's not necessarily about the Kool-Aid, but I actually legitimately watched the transition.
No, I'm saying him versus Kool-Aid.
Oh, Kool-Aid McKinstry? Mike's never been injured. And more and more, I'm starting to be a guy where, look, I get it. You can rehab through things.
Dr. Pierce said, don't worry about that.
Dr. Pierce says a lot of things, but I'm going to tell you like this. When it relates to that injury, you got one guy who's never been injured, and you see the leadership quality. Not only the skill, you see the leadership quality. You flip a coin. Kool-Aid McKinstry is a damn good player, too. He's from Alabama, a damn good program coached by Nick Saban, the same as Harbaugh's a great coach. So you flip a coin, but I'll take Kool-Aid McKinstry.
Okay. Who do you want at 29? Period. Positionless.
Well, you need a corner. You need a defensive lineman. You need a wide receiver.
You need an offensive lineman.
You need an offensive lineman. There's 4 spots for a team that's really could play right now.
Well,
right?
How about we do this? Let's take a break.
Yep.
Let's all think on it. And when we come back, we'll go around the room and see who you would
do
take.
it.
But first, my man Pete, what you got for me? Maz, it's you.
All right. You know what today is? You know what today? It's Big Boy time. That's right. Seafood Fest is back at Big Boy. Catch it while you can. Dive into those fish and chips and a Big Boy must. You got to try that mango iced tea. Goes great with the shrimp, popcorn shrimp, and the shrimp Alfredo. Every day is a fish fry at Big Boy. And tonight, it's a Friday night. It's Good Friday. It's the all-you-can-eat seafood buffet at your local Big Boy. Oh, thank you. And you can bring Jack Labrador with you. They don't mind you playing. Take a booth at Big Boy. Bring Jack Labrador with you. Take this Champions deck. Only $20 online right now. Click that QR code. It'll tell you how to play this game. It's a better way to play rock, paper, scissors. 2 new symbols and a franchise-changing 3-point play. It's jacklabrador.gg.
Every year, after a cold and dreary winter, Metro Detroiters come together for 2 things: Tigers baseball and the best damned party in the world. A new season of Tigers baseball is here, and we're bringing in the new season as only Woodward Sports knows how. Broadcasting live from the biggest party. It's the Grand Slam Festival at the Detroit Opera House. Come party with 4,000 Detroit sports fans, starting with Wake Up Woodward and rolling into Big D Energy. This is a party you don't want to miss, with Detroit's best DJs, food trucks, and of course, shots. Get your tickets now at GrandSlamFest.com. 21 plus. See you April 5th at the Grand Slam Fest.
Where's the most convenient place to get that big fitness energy?
It's Planet Fitness.
Join today for just $1 down, $10 a month. With over 2,400 locations and equipment for every workout, you can get in, get energized, and get going. And with free fitness training and most clubs open 24 hours, everyone belongs in the judgment-free zone. So join today for $1 down, $10 a month, no commitment, cancel anytime.
And with the first pick in the 2024 Media Draft, Detroit selects Woodward Sports. Thank you for making us the #1 digital network in Detroit.
At work and at home, we're there with smarter security solutions. Featuring complete automation with customized alerts and more. For over 90 years, we've been the company that's been counted on to protect what matters most, all with personalized service and care. Right now, for a limited time, receive a free video device plus free installation with a new home system. Guardian Alarm. We protect Michigan.
Congratulations to the real Coach of the Year, Motor City Dan Campbell.
Just put your head down and go to work. It's about to be fun, man. It's about to be fun.
Woodward Sports.
To any Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men and claim your throne for a king's treatment from one of our talented stylists. Open 7 days a week. Walk in anytime. Just get to a Lady Jane's today and receive a precision haircut, scalp massage, hot lather neck shave, and a hot towel treatment. A haircut should not be a chore. It should be an experience. And that's exactly what Lady Jane's has to offer. Open 7 days a week. Walk-ins are always welcome. There's always a location near you. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men, it's wicked awesome.
Is that an octopus in your pants, or are you just happy to see me? See what I did there? Go Red Wings! From Octopi Experts, Woodward Sports.
Hey guys, join Woodward Sports. We're partying live next Friday, April the 5th, downtown Detroit for the Tigers home opener. We're broadcasting starting at 8 a.m. from the Grand Slam Fest. It's the biggest party in the D, over 4,000 party people. Win your tickets now. All you got to do is like the stream. You know the scoop. You got to like our stream, our chat. And then you comment with Grand Slam Fest. Pete's going to pick one winner out, and we're going to tell you who it is, and you're going to get to come to opening day with us next Friday, April the 5th, at the Detroit Opera House parking lot. A big tent out there right next to Comerica Park. You can buy your tickets right now as well at GrandSlamFest.com. So get on it, chat. Like the chat. And write Grand Slam Fest in there. We'll tell you who wins before the night's over.
Welcome back, Ermanni. That was the last segment of the show. Before we went to break, I teased. I said, hey, or Anson asked the question, 29, what position would I take the Detroit Lions? This is what I would do.
I don't want position. I want player.
All
I
right.
want to know who you want.
I can give you that too. player and position. I'm taking a DB. I think we need an elite DB. We need a first-round DB. We need a DB that not only runs 4-3 or 4-4. We need a DB that we have footage on locking down wide receivers. We need footage. We need a guy with the same attitude as a Brian Branch. We need another guy that because at that position right now, especially with Cam Sutton leaving, we know we have Carlton Davis III, but many people don't believe he's a 1. So now you're looking at Amik Roberts as a 2 right now. So you're trying to figure out where the 3 is. I think you take that DB, and I think that DB 100%. I know what I just said. I still think it's Kool-Aid McKinstry. I think it's Kool-Aid McKinstry as DB. You take him. I like what he's a bigger corner. He's more physical. I think you need guys in this league to disrupt the routes. These guys, once they get off the line of scrimmage, it's hard to catch receivers in this day and age. So that's what I think. I don't think you need an offensive lineman at that pick because there's a ton of awesome offensive linemen in this draft. This is a heavy loaded offensive line draft. You don't need a wide receiver at that pick. There's wide receivers in this draft as well. Also, it's deep wide receiver draft. Also, there's some moves you can make. Guys, there's many moves you can make. And the defensive line, I think the Lions have done more on the defensive line than people think. And I think that there's still players here that haven't necessarily had a shot. Justin Houston will be healthy this year. Josh Pasco, we believe, will finally be healthy. So I don't think you necessarily have to go that route. But DB first, and that's the DB for me.
Okay. I mean, him and Branch are boys that both be keeping their mouthpieces up on their helmet. Yeah. For me, I Graham Barton from Duke.
Okay.
I want the offensive lineman. That was our calling card. That was what we succeeded on the back of, was that mauling offensive line. We were able to run the ball with whoever touched it. Obviously, we kept Goff upright the whole time. This is a guy that played center and tackle at a very high level, but he's strong enough to play guard at the NFL level, and he's athletic enough to be able to do the pulls probably better than Jonah Jackson did. So that's who I want. I know it's not sexy, and I know a lot of people don't want to see us go offense in the first round, but that's what's worked for us. Even 2 years ago when our defense was embarrassing, that's what worked again for us last year when our defense was average.
That is our calling card.
So protect our guy, keep our quarterback straight up, and let's keep running the ball. So I'll take Graham Barton.
I already know what you want to draft, so I don't need.
No, you don't know.
Who
do you think I want?
We'll switch up.
I do know. I don't necessarily know who you want, but I know what position.
What position?
Defensive line.
I don't.
We want offensive. We want wide receiver.
Nope. I'm sticking with a cornerback.
Oh,
I got my guy.
Okay.
I said he was a Lion the first time I saw him play. I saw him run down 105 yards to catch a player and tackle him. It's Iowa's cornerback, and he's white.
Yes,
Cooper DeJean. That's right. The first white cornerback to be picked in the first round since Jason Sehorn. I love this kid, and why I really love him is because he can return kicks as well. And with the new kickoff rule, look who you have. I know we all say Jamison Williams. Yeah. He'd be great. Hey, look, I don't want Jamison Williams to get hurt, but if he can do it, that's great. But I want Cooper DeJean, however he pronounces it. That's who I want. And tell me he's not a Brad Holmes and Dan Campbell guy. He is that guy. I hope he lasts until 29.
I'm not trusting White DB unless he comes out of SEC. Unless he comes out, hold on, hear me out. Unless he comes out of SEC or he comes out of the Big 12. Okay, now if he does something in those divisions, fine. Big 10 definitely didn't have any wide receivers that can peak to the level that I'm challenging. I'm looking, I'm saying, oh, okay, he did that in the Big 10. I don't want to hear it. But what I do want to hear is Maz on a lighter note. Mike, turn music down. Maz, if you will, I'll let you deliver the information.
Yeah. We lost a family member of Woodward Sports today. We lost our good buddy Jonathan Kloss, who came here walking through the door a couple years ago. He said, hey, you guys hiring? You guys need any interns? Kid loves baseball, was doing his own thing on the side, like Mike does, audio, video, like a lot of our guys in the back, Noah and the rest of the gang, very talented group of young men here. And John came in. He looked like a deer in the headlights, but he was so soft-spoken. He's like, yeah, he just sat there. Yeah, loved his Tigers, loved baseball. He's like an old man. He was like, could have been my son, this kid. Last night, he and his friend went out on the lake near Anchor Bay, and they lost control of their whatever they were driving. I think it was a jet ski. And it capsized. His friend was found, and John didn't make it. And his body was taken out of the lake today. And we grieve with his family. I literally talked to this kid 2 days ago. He's like, Matt, ready for opening day? Can't wait to go down to the game with you. Last year you told me you were going to take me to a game. This year you're taking me to a game. I couldn't wait to take this kid around. This kid was special. He is special. What makes it even hurt more, and it's his family, but to make it hurt more, today would have been his 22nd birthday. I really have no words to say except that how much I loved this kid, and everybody here loved him. The chat that's going around here, all the pictures of him, the videos. I'm sure we're going to put something together to honor him. And we will make sure we tell all our Woodward fans, Woodward people that follow us, will tell you what his arrangements will be. But right now, it's time for the family to grieve and come together as friends and family. John Kloss, we love you, man. And you're an angel watching over us. And I got a hunch that the Tigers are going to do something for you. And just know that we will never forget you.
We appreciate everybody in the chat at this time showing love for John Kloss, man. Rest easy, big guy. Rest easy. We're sorry in the show like that, but he's one of ours, so that's what we had to do. We appreciate you guys for tuning in. Another great show. Anson, always appreciate doing the show with you. Maz, appreciate you for coming in. You didn't have to today, man. And Mike, Pete, appreciate you guys as well. Appreciate the chat. Appreciate you guys. It's been another great week. We appreciate you. Ermanni, Edwards with Maz.
Have a happy Easter, everybody.
Happy Easter, and we'll see you guys.
God bless.